Hey everybody, welcome to No Ideas Media. You know, I don't mind a little shot of vodka now and again. I find it rather agreeable, honestly. But recently, Smirnoff vodka has been making some marketing moves that have science-minded consumers and even some alcohol distributors really scratching their heads. So this is what I'm talking about. This little commercial kind of thing where Smirnoff attempts to get across how woke they are now because their vodka has a non-GMO label on it. Well, why did they do that? And why do some people think it's a bad thing? Well, why they did it, I think that's pretty clear to consumers, many of whom think that non-GMO products are more virtuous than products that contain GMOs for some reason. So for Smirnoff, it makes a lot of marketing sense to capitalize on this perceived market virtue and signal to consumers that they're seeing this desire for non-GMO products and they're on board. So, why don't we pick up what they're putting down, right? Marketing makes sense. Okay, now the reason this labeling trick of Smirnoff's has had commentators like myself just foaming at the mouth in frustration is because it's yet another example in a long line of examples of a company just willfully ignoring their own regulatory body's rules and just doing whatever looks good in the marketplace because here's the thing. According to the TTB, the Treasury Department's Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, GMO labeling claims aren't allowed, period. Smirnoff is not allowed to say non-GMO on their label. A lot of the talk of this issue has centered around whether or not Smirnoff is making a health claim with their non-GMO label. Are they trying to say their group 1 carcinogenic intoxicant is somehow less poisonous because it's non-GMO? The fact is that it really doesn't matter what Smirnoff's motivations are, what claim they're making or not. The simple fact that they've put that claim on their label means they are offside with their regulatory body. They aren't following the rules, and they're taking advantage of kind of a big loophole. I spoke to an American distiller who gave me the down low on the TTB. According to this distiller, it's a well-known fact that if you submit a label to the TTB for approval and they deny your application, you just submit it again and again and again until it gets approved. See, distillers know this. Smirnoff knows this. And if they want to test the TTB's limits, say by making a non-GMO claim when they know it's against the rules, well, they'll do it because there isn't really a downside. And the potential upside is massive. Smirnoff can virtue signal to its super woke customers that they're the most woke vodka. It's brilliant from a marketing perspective, but it's ultimately kind of short-sighted. Not everyone is leery of GMOs. Many people understand that the fear and anxiety around this technology has been intentionally overblown by companies like Smirnoff seeking a market advantage. People like the Nondorfs. So Cole and Allison Nondorf are a couple of Kansas farmers who also happen to own a liquor store, A&C Liquid Assets. Now, their approach upon hearing about this Smirnoff ad was probably not the approach that Smirnoff expected its distributors to take. Here's Allison to tell you how they dealt with this Smirnoff news.
Well, I was online doing some research to bring some new products in because, you have time kind of standing around here. And I saw the commercial come up on an ad I was researching some other information on. And it just kind of struck me, and immediately I called my husband and he looked at it as well, and we decided almost instantly to take it off the shelf.
Okay, now you could argue that this is kind of an extreme response, one that maybe hurts the Nondorfs more than Smirnoff. I've pondered the effect this move to boycott probably had on Smirnoff's bottom line, and it's nil. If anything, the Nondorfs will have to bring in new products to fill the gaps in their shelves after tossing out Smirnoff. More than anything, though, this boycott is a symbolic gesture, more than an effective one. But you need to remember here, the Nondorfs are farmers, so from their perspective, this is kind of personal.
It's just a slap in the face, because no one really knows what farmers go through and how much they really put into it. Nobody really does the research on how safe GMOs are and that organic farmers use more pesticides than we do, and it's hurtful almost.
So due to that reciprocal virtue signaling that's happening in the marketplace between consumers and suppliers, where consumers are like, bro, I'm woke AF, bro, give me that non-GMO, bro, and then suppliers are like, bro, got your back, bro, check out Danson here, he's woke, we're woke, non-GMO vodka, bro. Because of all of that noise and focus on being woke, we can totally miss the fuzzy logic that tends to surround these kinds of labeling claims.
Well, you're already drinking a class 1 carcinogen in the first place, and so worrying about your liquor being non-GMO is just also comical. I mean, I pay our bills on people drinking and stuff, but at the same time, if you're already drinking, you're really that concerned if it's non-GMO?
That's the detail that Smirnoff was betting its fans would miss in all of this. See this asbestos? Oh, sure, it looks just like that asbestos, but you don't know that this asbestos is gluten-free and non-GMO and fair trade. It's all natural asbestos, so it's better in all ways, right? It's still a poison. A better poison, though, in simple terms. That's what Smirnoff is marketing here, and you know what? That could be done in a way that wouldn't piss anybody off. But you didn't market your superior flavor or your superior distillation process, did you, Smirnoff? You chose to bank on the demonization of a farming technology that most farmers would say is safe and effective. You tried to move up a rung on the ladder of virtue by stepping on farmers like the Nondorfs. And when I put it that way, I not only see why A&C Liquid Assets chose to boycott Smirnoff, but I also see that they really didn't have a choice from an ethical or moral perspective. I asked Allison why, knowing that this grand gesture probably wouldn't negatively impact Smirnoff, why they felt compelled to respond in this way.
To not be hypocrites, to not say one thing and act another way. We're very active in our community and in farming, and my husband goes to all the meetings and all the board meetings and anything he can, any information he can get his hands on. And if we could just change one person's mind to go with science instead of, whatever Ted Danson is saying on a commercial, then it's worth it. And I wouldn't want to come in my store every day, where I do spend most of my days, and look at that every day and think of myself as a hypocrite.
There you have it. A great example of farmers making a tough call because their conscience demands they do so. That's a real virtue, not an artificial one like non-GMO labeling. So I applaud A&C Liquid Assets for making this call. And if you're ever in the Kansas area, I'd encourage you to pop in, grab some hooch, and let them know that you've got their back. And finally to Smirnoff. We saw what you did there, but to us, it's not virtue signaling, it's ignorance signaling. And we've picked up on what you're putting down, and we won't be picking up your product again. Sorry. But I'll tell you what I'm not sorry for. I am not sorry for our patrons. Kevin, Rhonda, Jeremy, Mark, Kara, Midwest Ag Services, Troy, and Sam, you $50 patrons, you rock my world. Thank you for supporting what we're doing at No Ideas Media. You can support us on Patreon too, patreon.com/noideasmedia. Links in the description. Thanks a lot.